Bulls Nation, leading into the second game against the Washington Wizards and following our first victory of the season against Washington Wizards, we do have a few injury updates that we need to discuss heading into our next game tomorrow. Big news from the Chicago Bulls. Ultimately, this is one that is going to be a little bit of a wait and see type of scenario. Some players might be back and ready to go and other players might have to sit this out. At the end of the day, we have a lot to discuss and I'm going to give my opinions on this situation as well. So without further ado, let's talk about some injury updates and the latest news in this video. Let's do it. What's up, everybody? It's the Aidan Sports Show and welcome back to another video. Today we've got a Chicago Bulls video in relation to some of the updates that will be happening within the next few days. Some injury updates to discuss for the Chicago Bulls and my personal opinion on what could potentially happen leading into the future of the season. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Aidan Sports Show YouTube channel. Turn notifications on and let me know in the comments below what do you guys think about these injury updates for the Chicago Bulls, and do you think it's the right decision to play some of these players despite their injury concerns? We have a few things to discuss. There are two players in mind that I would like to talk about and could potentially be some positives and some negatives, of course. So the first thing I want to discuss is Thad Young. Thad Young was a player that was ready to go and ready to play against the Washington Wizards in the first game, but we did not see him play any minutes. Now, according to Thad Young, this was the coach's decision to not play him in this game. Now, obviously, with big things happening around the Chicago Bulls in terms of injuries right now, one of our bigger players is going to potentially miss the Washington Wizards game. Thad Young, in my opinion, becomes a very important asset to have in this time. So I'm very happy that he's back. Obviously, he was back before, but now in the next game against the Washington Wizards, I expect him to play some minutes in this game. Thad Young is a very good role player. Thad Young is a very good veteran, and in most teams, he will be playing a lot of minutes. And it shouldn't be the same. It should be the same with the Chicago Bulls. Many people don't rate Thad Young in that role last season. Hopefully, this season, we give him the opportunity, and he proves himself to be worthy of a spot on this team, whether it's starting and off the bench. And I think he will do that. I think a lot of players have really impressed that most people didn't like. Otto Porter wasn't really liked on this team because he was overpaid. He's been impressing so far. Satoransky has been very impressive so far. Denzel Valentine, granted only one game, has done very well so far. Hopefully Thad Young gets the opportunity to prove his worth to this team again. And I'm very, very happy to see him back. I say this many, many times for the Chicago Bulls: strength and numbers. The more strength and numbers that you have, the more numbers that you have on any given night, especially towards the middle and end of the season, the more important it's going to be. So I'm glad to see that Thad Young is back. Hopefully we can keep our roster fully fit and fully healthy leading into some of the future games that we have. Let's move on into the second injury news for the Chicago Bulls. This one is very unfortunate. Lauri in the game against the Warriors suffered a left knee contusion. He was day-to-day and very questionable against the Washington game, but said he was ready to go. In the first two quarters of that game, Lauri had a good game, played very, very well. But it looks like he re-aggravated his left contusion injury, and now he did not play for the second half of that game. He played a little bit of the third quarter, then did not play the rest of the third and the fourth. In the post-game interview, when we did get our victory, Lauri said that he cannot confirm if he can play in the next game. All that he knows is that he's very sensitive to contact and it hurts around the area where the contusion is. A lot of people are saying that Lauri aggravating the injury is a sign of what things can come with injuries. There's a good chance that Lauri might not play in the next game against the Washington Wizards. Many people want Lauri to play because he's been sensational so far this season, and losing an offensive threat like that could be very damning towards another victory, especially against the Washington Wizards side. So my question to you guys is, do you want Lauri to play our next game or not? Considering he has a left contusion injury, considering that he could potentially be ready to go. There are rumors he didn't train in the Bulls training session today. Is this the right idea for the Chicago Bulls to play Lauri against the Washington Wizards? Despite what he may say, or despite what the Bulls may think, I have a different opinion to this. Aggravating an injury of any kind could be very damning because the injury might aggravate into something else, something more serious than just hurting your left knee contusion again. And I would rather have Lauri miss 1 or 2 games, then miss 10 or 20. So I think we need to be very precautious of how we go with Lauri Markkanen, who has been injured for several years. Like, let's be real. Every single season for the Chicago Bulls, whether it's freak accidents or reoccurring injuries, Lauri Markkanen has been injured nearly every single season for the Chicago Bulls. We've seen this with Wendell Carter as well. We need to be cautious. If Lauri Markkanen is going to miss a game or miss 2 games, I'd much rather prefer that than having him to miss 20. Because when you miss 20, you basically jeopardize the season. If you miss 2, yes, it hurts. You could lose those 2 games, but you have him back and he could be ready to compete and get some victories elsewhere. So in the end of the day, Chicago Bulls fans, I don't know what you guys think about this, but the question remains if he will play. That's still up in the air. No one really knows if Lauri Markkanen will miss the game or not at this time. He did not train, so something tells me, even last time when he didn't train, he played. But with an aggravation, I think Lauri Markkanen might have to sit this one out and allow the Bulls to try and get a victory without him. It's going to be a tough game without Lauri Markkanen, but it's still winnable. The Washington Wizards are still beatable without Lauri Markkanen, as are many teams, to be fair. It's not just the Wizards I'm pointing out here. But with this game on the line and more future games coming up, I want Lauri Markkanen to be ready and prepared and to be fully healthy. There's not many injuries that take you out for a long time, but aggravation can lead to serious injuries. So hopefully the Chicago Bulls are a little bit more precautious. Hopefully they don't just risk him in this game for 1 victory and then he does aggravate it again. I want him to play the full game. I want him to be ready for the full game. I feel like if we had him in the lineup, we would have won by a little bit more. But regardless of that fact, it's all about just making sure these players remain healthy. Again, I'd rather him miss 1 game instead of 10 or 2 games instead of 20. And that is exactly what I hope the Bulls are thinking as well. It's okay to sit him out for this game because he'll be ready for the next 20. Instead of aggravating it in this game, then he misses the next 20. Hopefully that, explanation might be able to make you guys agree. Or if you disagree as well, please let me know in the comments below. It divides opinion. Obviously, we're only as good as our last performance, and right now the Chicago Bulls had a good performance. It's time to pick it up in the second game, and beating Wizards without Lauri Markkanen is a very strong message of how good this team can be going forward against some of the opposition that are considered the same level or a little bit of a team that we can beat. If we could beat them without one of our best players, that shows a strong message of what our aspirations should be this season. But I'm going to end this video here. This is a short video about the injury updates for the Chicago Bulls and whether or not they'll be playing. I believe Thad Young will play and get some minutes tomorrow night against the Washington Wizards, and I believe Lauri Markkanen might miss the game against the Washington Wizards. And I know it's a very, very upsetting thing to hear, but I think for the majority of the time, I think it's best that we keep him healthy instead of risking him in this game, because then again, you're going to get reoccurring injuries from someone that has been injured constantly for the last few years. It's as simple as that, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you in the Chicago Bulls versus Washington Wizards game reaction, the second game against them. Hopefully we walk away with our second victory and I guess bounce back after what has been a pretty poor start to the season, if I do say so myself. With that being said, have a wonderful day. I'll see you in another Chicago Bulls video. Take care and peace.